That's like when I first went to the boxing gym. I had like running shoes on, like basketball shorts, average t-shirt. I'm like, I don't care. I'm here to work out. And I'm looking at the kids around me. I'm like, they're trying to be professional. Got like the professional boxing shoes on.
Yeah.
Professional this, professional that. They're walking in the gym with a hoodie. You know, like that Canelo look. I'm like, bro. And then I realized, I was like, no, man, you got to go in the zone. I had to buy the right.
Yo, are we live?
Shooting.
Are we live? We connected? Okay.
You guys are shooting already.
Okay.
Oh, so let's do this.
So, Dave, what were you saying?
So I had to buy the right attire.
Yeah.
Because I realized if you don't have the right stuff on,
Yeah.
you're not in the mood. You're not in the moment.
Yeah.
It's different. So when I did get the right shoes, I did get the right gloves. I the right gear, the right jump rope. I got a bag. I was walking with like a book pack. Like, that.
Like a JanSport.
Like
yeah, one of those with just one zipper in the front, right? Like you're a basic dude. You don't have anything complicated.
I was like, come on, bro. Like,
you don't take anything serious because it's cool like that.
Yeah.
You just wake up and you're a boxer. You don't need the equipment.
But then you realize you need the right equipment.
Yeah.
Hiking.
Hiking boots. What kind of boxer equipment do you need? Do you need like those boots with the laces that come up to protect your ankles?
Not necessarily. They don't gotta be that high, but they're usually flat on the bottom, go around your ankle.
Why is that?
I believe ankle support.
Ankle support.
And the ring has a certain material.
Yeah.
So you can't really have any what do you call them, grows on your shoes? Because you're gonna feel it. So it's gonna throw you off balance.
Oh wow! So you're like barefoot in there.
Almost. You need that right balance, the right surface. It's like a carpet. So it's like having soccer shoes. If you're wearing cleats on, concrete, how's it gonna feel? You're gonna feel like, you ever tried them? Walk with cleats on concrete, and look how it's gonna feel.
Very awkward.
Very awkward.
Yeah.
But when you start walking on grass, it's different.
I actually never wore cleats. Well, no, I did. I played football, so yeah, I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, different cleats.
I loved cleats growing up. Really? I remember the first pair my father bought. Loved them.
Because you have like so much more grip on the bottom, right? And you can run.
But I was wearing them on concrete, bro. I wasn't even wearing them on grass.
Well, but
it was the whole idea of, these are professional soccer shoes. Yeah. And then I started realizing they're not doing the job because they're made for grass,
Right. It's like having a Lamborghini in New York.
It's not built for it.
It's not built for it, right? These are not the streets it's supposed to be on.
No. Would you say human beings are the same way?
What do you mean?
Having a certain mentality in a certain place maybe doesn't fit, would you say? Depending on where you are.
What do you mean? Like certain people having certain mentalities in a certain place?
Right.
So give me an example.
To word it in another way, have you ever met someone and kind of told yourself, wait, but this guy doesn't belong here? Maybe the way he presented himself or the way he speaks.
Give me an example.
Howdy. How's it going there? And if you were in, Times Square, for example.
He doesn't belong there?
You're automatically going to say, but this doesn't belong here.
This is not a northern accent. This is a southern accent.
Someone came, yo, I got to go.
That's unfortunate that's what it's become, New York, right?
Not everyone, but you get what I'm saying.
That's like the New York accent. Yeah, people always usually tell me, like, you don't sound like you're from New York. And I'm like, what does New York sound like? What does New York sound like to you?
I mean, there's a certain accent. When I worked in Connecticut, and that's not even that far.
Yeah.
And simple words like, oh, you're from New York. I'm like, how'd you know? It's like, oh, coffee.
Yeah,
coffee.
No. You definitely have a New York accent. I can definitely hear it.
I have every accent. Sometimes I sound Mexican, bro. Sometimes I sound African. It's because I deal with so many people. I realize that when I hear myself, I'm like, bro, I sound Chinese sometimes.
You're a chameleon.
I got random accents just suddenly popping out. I'm in the Bronx where I'm like, but you can't put it over here. And then,
the most I felt where you were in your true self was in Spain, but also, in Japan. If you didn't really try much Japanese, but you looked like you belonged.
I felt if I would say I felt comfortable, maybe you might understand it the wrong way. I just felt like, when you're just in daily ritual, whatever it is, and you're like, but why is this person doing that? Why can't you just do it that way? Or why are you talking to such person or talking to me that way? You know,
This is how you feel in New York.
certain behavior, New York or any other place. But when I was in Japan, I kind of felt that everyone kind of knew just what to do and they just did it. Whether it was the employees, whether it was people walking down the street, you kind of felt like everyone was, I don't want to say just well behaved, but everybody did what they had to do.
For God's sakes, they didn't have trash cans.
How long
'Cause
did it take
people-
us to find a trash can?
No, we started to understand.
Bro,
that
my
you
pockets
take-
were full of napkins.
Yeah,
And,
we started to understand that you're supposed to take the trash with you at home, throw it out there, and recycle it, or throw it in the trash, whichever it may be.
and they're forcing you to throw it
Wow.
out. They're forcing you to throw it on the ground.
Imagine that, and no littering. We didn't see any.
You would
littering
think
around.
that you would say, all right, there's no trash cans. That means
Must
forget
be
it.
filthy, right?
No.
Spotless clean.
So it's kind of like saying, I dare you.
And the way they police themselves through it is probably shaming each other, right?
Oh, forget it.
If somebody breaks a rule, they feel so ashamed by their society that they'll probably commit suicide.
It's kind of like a teamwork effort.
I mean, obviously, I'm exaggerating, but you get my
Yeah.
point.
Even though they do have a very high suicide rate.
Yeah.
Which is it's crazy.
Hey, it might be due to it.
But you do feel the society is kind of like a one team. You
Yeah.
feel like everybody kind of,
There's a solidarity.
100%.
There's a harmony to the way things are going. Everyone gets that their job and whatever they're doing is just as important as anything else. The base employee is just as important as the CEO, and everyone understands that.
Right.
And while they're there, they don't want to be somewhere else.
True.
Right? For God's sakes, you remember when we were in the Shinkansen train, and the way the janitorial workers all within
forget it.
uniform lined up in unison,
It was kind of like a synchronized caterpillar.
Yeah, they in unison bowed down and greeted the train,
And they had the plastic bags open,
like robots.
It's not like a shame. It wasn't like,
No,
I'm
absolutely
ashamed.
not. Yeah. And no
I
one
take
looked
pride
at
in
them
my
that
job.
way. Yep.
Lined up. And so as soon as we exited the train,
Yeah.
you saw how they, all walked in together, did what they had to do. They take pride in what they do. So even picking up trash, if some societies you might go to, they might take it as, I pick up trash. No, they took
Right.
pride. That's my job. So I really respect that about them. You kind of felt that there. Everybody took pride in what they did.
Yeah.
Even behind the counter selling like those, like a newspaper or the, what do they call those? Ikaben? Those prepared meals that it's a whole tradition.
What do you mean?
It's like a prepared meal. They sell them in metro stations.
I don't remember that. What? I missed out on
It's a popular culture they have. I think it's called the ikaben.
Ikaben?
So it's like a pre-made
What's inside
meal.
it?
Oh, they vary depending on the season too.
Mm.
So if you're in winter, you'll have like, seasonal food that grows in winter, or even the design. So if you're in autumn, you'll find yellow, orange, some red. So even the seasons, they'll put that, they'll display it on the food,
Yeah. One thing that really caught me by surprise was seeing all those vending machines every single place that we went to. And they were very convenient too. It was good to just have water or juice or anything just around anywhere.
Yeah.
I kind of missed that when I came back. I also missed how quiet everyone was back in Japan. You remember that?
Very quiet.
It was like a library.
Oh, forget it. God forbid your phone rang.
You would have never thought that you were 11 p.m. at night in the metro train.
Oh, no.
It would feel like a library morning with the lights on, people falling asleep, no one being rowdy. There's no, all right, y'all, I just want to thank y'all.
You don't get that.
Nobody's coming out and dancing for the football team to get, no, there's no bums and homeless people coming about. dude, it was like unreal.
It kind of was.
It was like a mannequin.
I'm glad you said that.
City.
I'm glad you said that because, I mean, what did we stay in Japan for 10 days? At the end of the trip, would you say you kind of had that feeling where it's like, man, but why is everything too perfect? Or did you feel that it was just, you know what? No, I like this. Or did you reach that limit where, you know what? No, I want someone to cross the road when it's not, you know.
Well, we were the ones that were crossing the road when it wasn't time to go.
When we first got there.
And did we start following the rules?
Of course. I was even telling you, I was like, brother, wait.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't. I don't know.
Because that's how human beings are.
Yeah.
We react to our environment. So believe it or not, if I was to stand on that same light there and start doing it every day just for 10 hours a day, I'll take another 5-10 people with me.
That's true.
Within a month, couple hundred.
Yeah.
That's how we are as a society. You start following what you see. You start following what you're around, man. We're sponges. We soak in our environment, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, you're going to...
I just didn't understand, if there's no cars coming, why can't we just walk? You know, they were so obedient to just even that. When no one's around, no one's here to police you. It's okay. You can rely on your own mind. You know, people became a little bit too docile for me. That's the thing that made me feel not alive. That's the thing, that everything was perfect. Everything was going around the way things go. But I felt like it was a little unhuman. You know?
I kind of got that.
Didn't you get that? Remember when...
I mean, the phones killed me.
That too, but hold on. Remember this? The light music, spa music playing.
Oh, in the middle of this
all
neighborhood?
Like nature sounds. Like fake nature sounds.
I'm like,
I was like, is there a bird here? You look around and there's no actual... There's a speaker right there. Yeah. That's
a little too much.
Come on, that made me feel a little uneasy.
Let me hear the natural bird, you know?
Yeah. If there is a bird. If there isn't, it's okay. Let's hear the cricket. Or if there's a cricket, if not, just leave it alone.
So what's the limit, would you say? I mean, where do human beings stop interjecting? Where do we stop? Where we say, you know what, here's the line.
Yeah.
Let's be, I don't want to say perfect, but let's do what we have to do as a society. Let's follow the rules. But like I remember hearing, you know, as me growing up, I used to admire Arnold Schwarzenegger. I remember he had a quote where he said, you have to break the law once in a while. You can't always follow the law. Once in a while, you have to break the law. And I kind of respect that, because me growing up, I even had to go through that, where it's like, you know what? No, jump out the box. You know, don't break, you know, don't go killing people, but you know what I get. Right. What I'm saying. Yeah. Sometimes break the law, as long as you're not hurting or harming anybody else, you know? But when you're in Japan, I kind of felt like, no. You break the law, they're going to shame you.
Yeah.
You know?
Like crossing, like jaywalking was as far as I went. But, you know, that's just, it didn't make sense to me.
In Japan?
Yeah, or anywhere. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, there's no car coming. It's for my safety. I can make the decision. I can see there's no other cars
defeats
here.
The purpose, right?
Yeah. So they were a little too docile in that aspect for me. And it's a double-edged sword.
It is. It is.
It
gets to you. It gets to you.
You get the convenience of having everybody follow the rules, you know, but at times you just start to feel a little suffocated.
And you need people. You need interaction.
I felt like the interactions weren't natural. They weren't really being nice because they wanted to be nice. They were being nice because you had to be nice.
You felt that?
Yeah.
I did hear in there.
Remember that bus driver? Did you hear the death in his sound? Like he's trying to be polite. Arigatou gozaimasu. Remember that? Whatever he said.
Like, remember we asked the ladies, like, can we ask you a question? What is he saying?
What does he say? Right.
Like, okay. He's just telling you when he's making that left and right turn.
To like hold on.
Wait, what? He's telling us when he's turning so we can hold on so we don't fall.
Yeah.
That really, I mean, that hit my heart. I was like, wait, you're driving a
love
bus?
that, yeah.
How long is he doing it for? 10 hours a day?
Probably.
And you're sitting there, left turn,
Right
turn. We're stopping, right?
Yeah.
We're driving off so you can
Yeah.
hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Left turn, right? That's multitasking.
Yeah.
You're focusing on the road. He's looking at the mirror,
Yeah.
and he's telling you every time he's turning.
Wow. That's a lot of... Just focusing on the road is a lot of variables, right? And he adds all these others in. They were very thoughtful and mindful of
100%,
others.
100%.
That's definitely... The fact that they
I
wouldn't...
really respected that,
The fact that they wouldn't talk loud so it doesn't cause any inconvenience to others. I like that. That's very nice. Just pipe it down a bit,
I don't have to hear everybody's conversation or personal conversation.
Yeah. Forget about a boombox coming in and disrupting everybody's peace. That would never happen.
Talking about that, I mean, I did have a past experience when I went to Russia, my first trip, and I kind of felt like I was in a 007 game. Growing up playing 007, and as you hear stereotypical, oh, in Russia everybody's cold, nobody's talking.
Yeah.
Not to that extent, but you do feel that everybody's to themselves. It's quiet. Everybody's serious. Nobody's just laughing for no reason. Tough people. And then right after that, I went to Spain.
Mm.
And when I landed in Spain, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air, bro. It was
So
kind of like, okay.
So in Russia, you feel like people were more cold
Oh, 100%.
as compared.
For example, if you want to stop someone in the
Yeah.
street in Russia and be like, can you take a picture of me? Just give me your phone. They'll look at you like.
Why'd you bother?
I mean,
me
if it
for
was a
that?
younger
Yeah.
person, they'll do it. But
Yeah.
you kind of had that feeling where it's kind of, they'll look at you like,
How about if you ask someone for directions?
I mean, they're helpful. They're helpful.
They're helpful.
Yeah, but I'm comparing it to the
They're not as
sense where-
warm,
yes.
welcoming. They're not as welcoming.
Yes, like when I first landed in Barcelona, I mean, even the people working, sí, pero bueno, gracias, just the whole,
kissing each other like 30 times.
yeah. Sí,
I love the Spanish.
Oh no, they get
they're so
dramatic.
expressive.
Claro. They're putting the feelings
Yeah.
in their word. In Russia, you don't get that. It's like,
Nothing.
Нет. No. Which is no.
Right,
It's
right.
kind. And I didn't like that in the beginning. I was like, okay.
You didn't, or you did?
I did.
Which one?
In Russia, when
You like the coldness?
at first.
Okay.
Now comparing it to Japan,
Yeah.
and then after a while, I was like, wait, man.
But Japan wasn't cold; it was more cordial.
Oh yes. Yes.
Right?
100.
They
It was
were
different.
Come on,
It
they
was
were
different.
so nice. They were so sweet. That guy literally left where he was going to show us where our address is, and it was the opposite way. You remember that
Where was
guy
this?
when we first got to Kyoto,
Oh,
and we were
he walked
looking
with
for
us.
that, and he literally walked in the opposite direction for like 4 or 5 blocks just to show us where it is, because he couldn't communicate properly in English. So that's amazing. That's so sweet.
Oh, 100%.
And then he like bowed and thanked us. Like, how weird was that interaction where I stuck my hand out and he's like looking at me like, what is
What
that?
do I do with your hand?
Are you giving me something? Like, it's just so
He
foreign.
fumbled. He was like, oh.
He was like, oh, is this what the Westerners do? You guys just grab your hand and yank it?
I remember seeing those two
Makes no
older
sense.
women. They were like in their 70s or 80s. They had a brief conversation. They were already social distancing before the whole Corona thing. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but then before they said bye, they both bowed down to each other. She'll walk away a bit. She turned back again.
Paid respect.
I was like, wow, school kids. Remember those? There was like 6, 7 school kids. One of them was leaving.
Right.
It was like a Pokemon cartoon. Bye-bye. He's walking away. Bye-bye.
That was so
It's like,
cute.
wait, this really does exist?
Yeah.
It's not only in those anime series, this is real?
Wow, those anime series are a reflection of their society. In a way.
Yes.
That's an exacerbation, but still. It was so much like that.
Like I was saying, we brush off, man. So if they were to make a cartoon, it's going to reflect what they are, what they go through.
Yeah. So Russians, you were saying, are just more, where's my vodka?
More serious, they're more straight to the point. You know,
Yeah.
of course, not everyone, but
But they're polite.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Great people.
They have
great
manners.
People. Sure, great people.
They're clean.
Clean.
Okay.
It's just that's what you
Like the streets aren't dirty in Moscow or St. Petersburg.
not that bad.
Not that bad.
And again, they probably are reflecting their environment. Colder.
Yeah.
It's darker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you went to the Caribbean, you're gonna hear that Caribbean music. Do, do, do,
Yeah.
do, you know, why? It's sunny. They got beaches. It's tropical. You know, they got exotic animals, birds, even their fruits. You know, so it kind of brushes off into the people. They're
Everything's
gonna be
colorful.
Yes.
Food, the people.
Yeah, man, go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
You know,
They've got the herb. Right.
respect.
Respect.
So it's brushing off. You
Yeah.
know, that's how human beings are. We brush off where we are, what we're going through emotionally. You growing up as a kid,
How is a Russian metro station?
beautiful.
Yeah. Like the architecture.
It looked like literally like maybe beautiful, more beautiful than any museum I've been to.
museum. Wow, so you felt like you were
And then
standing
it
inside a
goes.
museum.
I'm talking about goes hundreds of feet down. And we're like, whoa!
Really?
And it's like a museum. Beautiful, beautiful. I read up on it a little bit before going. I was like, okay, nice subway systems, great. But then you really appreciate it when you're there. You're like, wow, man, this is a subway station. This is
I can imagine the architecture being baroque, intricate, colorful, or not really.
not really,
Not really colorful. Wow.
not really colorful,
But very
it was
intricate details,
yes,
right?
Yes.
It's like embossed coming in and out. 3D.
Yeah. I liked it. Nice design.
And how
nice
are people
architecture.
interacting with each other there? Having conversation, or everybody's just
You
going?
do see it. It's not like Japan.
Yeah.
You do see it, but it's not as much.
Do you have people coming in and talking loud like how you do in New York?
No.
Never.
So it's like
Rarely.
between New York and Japan.
Okay.
It's not where everyone's on their phone, and it's not where everyone is, screaming their conversation out. So I would say it's in the middle.
Okay.
That's how I would say. I would say they're in the middle.
That's good. You know, one thing I really missed about Japan was Hakone. Hakone really got me.
It almost really did.
I almost
get
died
you.
in the volcanic springs.
It said 15 or 20
15,
minutes.
20 minutes. I didn't know that.
How long did you stay there?
I
An
stayed
hour?
there for like an hour 30.
An
So
hour?
about 90 minutes.
90 minutes. And I was in the room sleeping. I remember waking up and hearing your voice on the phone with a doctor.
My friend, she's a nurse.
And I'm knocked out because I was exhausted. And I'm like, what's going on? You're like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm dizzy.
My,
Your heart was-
dude, my lungs felt like they were shutting down.
What
on
was
me.
that
I couldn't
chemical?
breathe.
Phosphorus or
I think sulfur.
sulfur?
Sulfur. You're saying maybe I got like sulfur poisoning?
It went into your bloodstream, bro.
Probably. I've never felt that before. So I laid there 90 minutes, taking in the onsen, right? The volcanic springs. Very nice. I mean, I've been in hot tubs. I've been in saunas and stuff. I'm okay with it. I haven't stayed like an hour to 90 minutes, but
Not in sulfur.
yeah, not in sulfur as well. Dude, when I got out of there after 90 minutes, I felt lightheaded, so woozy. I felt like I was drunk. Okay. So I said, okay, I'm just feeling relaxed. I'm enjoying it. I was like, yeah, I'm feeling relaxed. This is nice. And I'm walking back from the onsen to my hotel room. And I get to the hallway, and now I feel like I'm going to pass out. And I was like, okay, I'm too relaxed. I'm too relaxed. And my eyes start to close. I was like, whoa. Now I'm started taking deep breaths. I'm like, whew. I was like, oh my God, I literally feel like I'm going to pass out.
Wow.
So I started breathing heavy.
And I'm not even there to help.
No,
you.
you're sleeping. You're knocked out. You're jet lagged. And no one around me speaks English. I go to the front desk. I manage to get to the front desk some way, somehow. Mind you, my eyes are closing and they're opening, and I'm really focusing on breathing because my lungs feel like they're shutting down.
And I'm asthmatic.
And I'm breathing
And I
heavy.
felt it right away there.
Yeah,
I remember reading the
you saying
sign.
that.
If you have any problems breathing or asthma,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this is where I die. Let me die in this happy place.
So now I make it to the reception, And I go to him, can I have some water? And he doesn't speak any English, like whatsoever.
They gave you that look like, huh?
Yeah. Oh. So looking around.
How do you draw out water?
Water. And I was like, I'm telling him water. So I started explaining to him deliberately. I was in the onsen right now, and I came back, and he's taking nothing. He starts calling.
He's probably
other
thinking
people.
you're asking him where the onsen is.
Exactly what
Bob
happened.
told you, oh.
He started telling me that way. I was like, no. I come from there. And this is the time where I don't have time to be trying to speak Japanese. I went full-blown inconsiderate American. I started screaming in English to him.
Like, oh, screw this. Yo, where's my water at, man?
Someone needs to help me. Help! I can't breathe. You know? So, dude, I had a bunch of Japanese people come about, and they're all looking at me like I'm a puzzle to solve. And I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here.
They're probably thinking you're an opera actor or something.
So I just left. I went to the 7-Eleven. I grabbed water, some electrolytes like Gatorade or something, and I left. And I came back to the room, and I drank it. And I'm still laying there now in dark. And I tried to wake you up, and you look like you're knocked out. You have no idea. Even if like Armageddon came,
I remember that. I remember that nap I took.
I came back and I laid down, and I tried to go to close my eyes, but I feel like my breath isn't going if I don't stay conscious and try to focus on my breath. I'm not breathing, so I had to stay awake. And I'm like,
and you don't suffer from asthma.
Oh my God, nothing, man. I had no idea. I literally thought I was gonna die. It's like, but it was a peaceful death that was happening. Like, you just have to accept it.
I mean, you live and learn, man.
Yeah. And so I called up my friend, and I'm telling her, like, I just came out on onset. She has no idea. Because, these nurses are just, like, regurgitating a lot of information they get from books. She doesn't have any experience. She just graduated and got the job. So she's, like, morally comforting me. She's there for me.
She's like, okay, it's okay. You'll be okay.
Just breathe. You'll be all right. And it actually worked. It worked, So
something psychological.
Yeah, something psychological. And I felt better, and I shut the phone, and I could breathe. And I got up, and I then ate something, and drank more water. I was dehydrated too, and then I felt better. But that was an experience. In Hakone, there was a lot of peace there. No, remember those mountains? How
there was
so much peace there.
There was. You feel it.
We didn't see it the right way. We should have hiked.
100%,
man.
100%.
We would have felt the forest there. We would have felt this energy.
I really wouldn't do too much city. I would go to the rural countryside.
Yeah.
I would go to they still have ancient samurai villages that still have where actually the samurais lived.
Yeah.
So you can experience that.
That was nice.
There's a lot.
I really enjoyed the in Arashiyama. We had
in Kyoto.
In Kyoto, yeah. What was the remember where you actually took a picture of mine as well? It was a monastery. It was a Buddhist monastery. Mm-hmm. And they had so many different kind of species of moss just being cultivated by monks.
Yes.
Gorgeous. It was beautiful. Such intricate, lush greenery I've never seen in Japan. Would you have imagined? I would have never imagined.
No.
Somebody would say that's how lush and exotic and wild animals. Remember the insects? They sounded like aliens.
I came to find out because we heard
so
all these loud insects. I mean, you're in the middle of what was it? It's Tokyo.
Yeah.
So we're going to Meiji. Was it a shrine?
It was a park.
We literally time traveled.
So Meiji Park, I think, is like the central park, how we have in New York. That's how they had in Tokyo. And you're just like you said, when you walk in, you don't even hear the city anymore. And the insect sounds take over like a little bubble of atmosphere with their sounds. And they all sound like aliens, right? And they were super loud. Like,
yeah. I came to find out after researching, it's actually a summer time thing they have there. Where they get these certain insects that do make those sounds. Because I was like, is this really always how it sounds?
It's too much.
Are they trying to tell us something right now?
Yeah.
It was really...
Did you feel like you were being abducted?
It was definitely something.
There was an energy in the Meiji Park, man.
Yes.
There was an energy there.
Not necessarily positive.
Yeah.
There was a negative, I would say, and a positive.
What about the tea ceremonies there? They have like this tea ceremony you guys were talking about?
Forget it. We really didn't have the time to go to one. I mean, I really wish I was well informed on Japan before going, because I was so infatuated by the things I seen there that after I came back, I started looking these things up, the tea ceremony and their culture. They even have dry gardens where they make them out of stone.
Yeah.
They have like that, was it a temple we went to or a shrine? Where they had this beautiful manicured garden.
It was another
The
monastery.
fish, they had those small trees. And you just sit there, whether you meditate or contemplate, and you just enjoy it. You look at the lake, you enjoy the trees they have, the environment.
So peaceful.
I really did like that, where they had this kind of cleansing environment. Even the tea ceremony, before you go into the tea ceremony, you sit in this garden so you can release all the negative energy you have in you from whether it's daily life or cities. You release all that negative energy, and
funny.
then you go into
It's
the
funny
ceremony.
that you say that. I loved that about them, that they would have forest bathing. So before or after, I think it was, they would have like a meeting of some sort, and they would go to a forest to rid themselves of the business energy and that sort of thought process, and go back into a very natural state and harmony with nature.
Because you need it, even on a weekly basis.
The good oxygen. And then they would go into the tea ceremony. Oh, it's beautiful.
Like I was telling you before, because we are sponges as human beings.
Yeah.
So if you were to go into the tea ceremony with a negative energy,
it would affect others
it's
around
gonna
you.
affect and it's going to affect
Yeah.
it'll affect the whole ceremony.
So you would go have like a mini power meditative moment where you cleanse yourself. So you're not rowdy. You don't bring that rowdiness into the other room or whichever way that you're feeling. And now you're a clean slate, and then you enter
100%.
with everyone else.
It teaches you a lot,
Amazing.
man. I mean, I even brought this back with me when I came back home.
Did you?
When I'm at work or when I'm outside and I come back home and I open my house door, I want to kind of say, you know what, this is my tea ceremony in a way.
Wow.
I want to leave all the negative things that you went through throughout the day outside. If you look at most problems that happen in a household, family, married, not married, whatever it is, it's something you went through, and then you take it back home with you, and whatever it is, you could be pissed off, had a long day, whatever it is.
It's like disassociated anger.
Yeah.
Right.
So it teaches you a lot. It made me more organized as a person. I realized the way you fold your shirt is going to affect the way not only your shirt looks, but how you wear it. The next time I go pick up my shirt, if it's all thrown, you're going to put it on you. All that negative energy is on you. My shirt is well folded, clean. I put that on me. I'm going to feel it. It's going to rub on me. You're going to feel it. And that's how we are. And you get that with everything, even a meal. You want to enjoy the meal? I personally like to take a shower before eating my dinner. I could be starving. I'd like to take a shower, be clean, sit down, enjoy the dinner.
Right.
Interesting.
You know? If I come home from work, if I didn't change my work clothes, oh, no, I'm not eating. And I could be fasting or starving.
Interesting.
I'm going to change my clothes. I'm going to take a shower. And then I'll have the dinner. Try it.
Cleanse yourself.
Cleanse yourself.
First.
Cleanse
from
yourself,
like the worldly matters that you've been through outside. Whatever you don't want to bring it into your
100%, even into your meal.
Into your home.
The way you're feeling is going to affect the way you're tasting the food. Had a long day, whatever it is, I'm bothered by something, or I'm not feeling cleansed and I'm eating. It's going to affect the way I'm taking the food as taste. Or
I never thought of it that way, but that's so true.
100%. Try it.
Quick question. How long were you guys there again?
9 days.
Yeah.
Not even,
like
right?
a week and a half.
Did you guys see like any type of adjustment?
In us?
Yeah, adjustment to the culture. To the
Yeah.
language
It
or
forces you.
something?
Oh
Forces
my God.
Really?
I missed it.
It's kind of like, look,
much.
whether you like it or not, this is how you're acting. This is how it teaches you. What I really liked about
whether
it,
you like it or not, this is how you're acting. I didn't see it that way. You know how I saw it? I felt like this is the way to be. Why would you want to be any other way?
In that sense, I don't mean it forces you like,
Yeah.
you know, like you're going to jail.
But it was almost like, but don't you see how good it is over here to be nice? I was like, yeah. That rowdiness that I had before, just left it out. It's like,
I don't need this.
I don't need this.
I don't need it. Yeah.
We started whispering.
Put it this way: we went to a park where they have wild deer just roaming around. I'm like, all right, you get these cookies and you go to the deer.
That
I'm like,
was a
what are you
good one.
crazy? I'm gonna go to a deer and give him a cookie?
Yeah, they're gonna run away, of course.
So we get to the park in Nara.
Yeah,
Deer are just chilling,
they're like puppies,
sitting down like cats.
literally like puppies coming up to you.
So we got the cookies. We're like, all right, here it goes. They're coming up to you. They're eating the cookie. They're just sitting. You took a picture sitting next to one, petting it.
Yeah.
I mean, if animals are acting like the society. You know what I mean? And those
Aren't
are
we going
animals.
to?
So how about human beings? You don't think
Yeah.
human beings are going to be affected?
How was Tokyo?
It was okay, depending where you come
Yeah.
from.
See, that's one thing though. If
Depends what you're looking for.
If
you
I
know?
could skip, I would skip Tokyo. It's a metropolitan
It's nice for a first timer, right?
on crack.
No,
I think, yeah, I think it's.
it depends.
that
If you like
sh-
big cities, you'll really like it. It has a lot to offer. It's nice. But seeing it once, I would say if you're going to go back a second time, I mean, it
you could-
depends
you
on the
could skip
individual.
it. You could skip it, especially for somebody who's from New York.
That's what I'm
You know,
saying.
you're
Right?
living
That's
and
another Times
breathing.
Square for you.
Yeah, it was just like Times Square. I didn't want to see that. It wasn't authentic. It wasn't original. It wasn't actual culture, Japanese culture. Well, it is now, but it had the mix of westernization, and it showed you.
Like every major city, right?
Yeah, it showed you what westernization does to the DNA of Japan and what they become from it, from like this advancement of technology. They became very unnatural. Now compare that to like rural Japan, and where they were very calm and welcoming, where in Tokyo you felt like it was lifeless.
You
It was like a
yeah,
doll.
you do get that. You
It
do.
was like a blow up doll, right?
Yeah.
Everything was fake and it was too perfect. You didn't like
I remember
it.
even the second day, like, all right, this is nice, but
Let's get out of here. What are we doing here? It makes no sense.
I mean, you didn't even want to go back. We had to go back to
No, I
Tokyo
was like,
for our
oh, we
flight.
gotta go. I wanted to get a different plane from a different place. That's so much I didn't want to go back to it. I hated it.
Because
You
we
wanna-
had such a good time in other places.
I'm just not a fan of that kind of energy. You know, and
Okay,
if
okay,
I'm in
makes
a place,
sense,
and
makes
if
sense.
I'm going on vacation, like Arashiyama for me, wow, it was a place where mountains, lush green mountains everywhere. The clouds are sitting right in the mountains, and it feels like a dream. Is misty rain,
Have that mountain
right?
train you take.
horses going by, and the people who are taking in the horses, everyone's calm, everyone's relaxed, and look at the scenery around you. It's so beautiful. It's so natural. You're with. Remember that coffee shop?
Oh,
The best cappuccino I've ever had in my life.
you would think,
Arashiyama.
you know, I want to have the best cappuccino. That's going to be in Venice. You know,
No,
that's going to
exactly.
be.
That's what I would have thought.
No, they mastered everything.
Wasib, I remember you saying something like the people in Tokyo are like workaholics.
Oh my god, they would work till like almost midnight.
Oh, we'll be on the train, what, 11 at night? And I'm thinking, why are they dressed up in suits with with a case? We came to find out people are finishing work 10, 11 o'clock. I mean, they're really putting in a lot of hours of work. So their culture, I would say, since they're really putting in a lot of hours, it's going to force you to do like those cleansing tea ceremony or all the rejuvenation.
Do you think
or
that's
the
what
spa.
causes it? That's
It's going to affect it.
No, man.
I mean,
Oh, it's gonna affect it, but that's not what caused. That's their natural
I mean,
culture
even-
as is.
it is.
And now this is what westernization has caused them to become. So for them, it's like polar opposites, extreme opposites. Like this is how they used to be. They get that.
They're not meant to be that way.
Yeah, no. You saw how they were in rural Japan?
That's what caused them. How many alcoholics did we see just thrown on the floor?
Oh man, just drinking straight up.
And I'm not talking about homeless people or bums. I'm talking about people in a suit and a tie.
white collars. hardworking individuals.
Now, going back to the
law-abiding
question I
citizens.
said in the beginning of our conversation, what is that line we draw where we say, you know what? This is where we stop. This is where it's going to affect me as a person. This is where my body's going to start paying the toll. This is where my family members might start paying the toll, you know.
For God's sakes, they don't have time for relationships. They have bars. Listen to this. They have bars where you can go and get a session of cuddling, or how about this?
Or
Not
a
even
date.
that.
Or even a date.
Listen to this. A guy can go in and purchase a session for a woman to clean out his ear because, like, just like how an affectionate girlfriend would, because they don't have time for relationships.
Wow.
Even businessmen. I mean, he's on a business trip. He'll pay a woman just to go out and have dinner with him.
Not like sexual.
No,
Not
accompany
for any
him.
sexual favors, just to accompany him.
Nice
as a
conversation.
nice person.
Full-
Simply as that. He's a millionaire, for God's sakes, but what he doesn't have is affection from another person. So look how unnatural that is. It's not how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely
See, I
not.
got that energy from Tokyo, and I was like, "Get me out, please! Get me out of here! I can't take it." I think I'm more sensitive than you are to these energies around.
True, that's a big no-no for you.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I mean, I'd like to thank you for you taking us for that foot rub.
Oh,
I'm not a foot rub type of guy. Never really got one.
that was a good one.
That felt great after walking on
That was a good
all
one.
that. Yeah. And then
That was an
experience.
experience.
How about the tip?
Yeah.
We wanted to tip them because they did a great job. So we're like, you know what? We're accustomed to tipping.
Right.
So we paid them the bill. And we wanted to tip them. I think it was like, what, maybe 15 US bucks, 20 bucks?
something equivalent to like $20.
They
Nothing
looked at us like,
extravagant.
like,
Like it was an insult.
so first I was like, all right, I mean, is this too low? Like, what's going on? And then I knew it. I was like, all right, no, they don't.
I was
their
in shock.
culture,
I was in
it's-
disbelief when you were like, no, Wasib, they don't take tickets. I was like, no, how could it be? Maybe it's too low. We'll give you more. You guys were amazing.
And then like two of them came. They're like, so then that's why, oh, okay. Thank you.
please.
And they followed us outside
How about this? I was in
and then
disbelief.
just bowing to us until we like left.
And they were trying to convince me that, no, it's okay. We get paid enough. You don't have to tip us.
Again, I take pride in what I do.
Yeah.
Where else did you say they don't have a tipping culture? Was it France or Europe?
I think just in general, Europe.
Most of Europe,
You
no
could,
tipping.
but they're not like looking for it. I loved how they all came out as they knew that we were foreigners and we didn't understand the custom of like, you don't need to necessarily tip. When they understood that we were foreigners, we were Americans, we're not, from there, they all came out to wave goodbye to us again in unison. It almost sounded like elementary kids coming out for assembly and just saying,
That was really.
arigato,
It hits your heart.
together. And I was like,
How about
wow.
how about when we were on the Shinkansen? I just asked a lady next to me. I forgot the name of our stop. If it was the next stop, so she
That was a
told
good
me.
one.
No, she was like, she showed me on the map.
Yeah.
Like, okay, thank you. 2 stops later, she leaves. She was with her mother and father, and I'm just looking out the window, and they all lined up, and I'm looking at them, and they're waving like this. So I'm just looking at them because I don't know who they're waving to, but they're looking at me. Then I look around, nobody's next to me. So I'm like, wait, are they waving at me? Like, I don't even know them. Why would you wave at me? Why would you just tell me bye? So the train drives off. I was like, okay, let me make sure. Nobody's here. The train was empty. I'm like, holy cow. I feel like an idiot. I mean, I just looked at him as they're saying bye. Like, probably screw him. Wow, man.
Because they knew you were a foreigner.
Yes. Yeah.
And they wanted to welcome you into their country like it's their home. And be nice to you. That's amazing.
You get it when
Love
you
that.
first land in Tokyo.
It's unreal.
I mean, most places where it says tourist information, they're sitting behind the counter like this. How can I help you?
Right.
Like, oh, what brought me here?
Right.
They were lined up, like 3 or 4 of them outside the counter, standing up, ready.
In perfect clothing. Everything's pressed, neat, ready to serve. It was beautiful. I love that part
How
too.
were
about it.
like those transportation systems there? Was it like Subway City here? Or?
No, my God, it was so clean.
I mean, they have one of the best in the world. I'm sure everybody
Yeah.
heard of the what do you call bullet train?
They're
Shinkansen?
never late.
Oh no,
It's not a
no.
thing. It's never. It doesn't happen. You
Like
know?
if it says 10, that means 10.
That, yeah,
What did they
that's
wait?
it
Like
means.
a minute or 30 seconds, something like that.
If they were to be late, they would probably apologize to you, and every single person. You know, it's like that. I like the fact that when you get to the station there, people tend to line up according to the time that they came, and no one enters or skips you. Like that's not a thing.
That doesn't happen, no.
Skipping line, it's not a thing. That's not going to happen.
Even they had male and female carts.
Oh yeah, I like
Not
that
that
too.
they didn't segregate, but
No,
I
no.
didn't
They
get
didn't
it.
segregate, but if someone wants to feel comfortable and not be around, say, men, for instance, if they want to breastfeed and they want to be comfortable
Probably
in the
something like
situation,
that,
they'll
right?
have like a female cart if that's what you prefer, and men aren't allowed to go there. I love that. I love that about it. It was so courteous to others. If someone wants,
you do get you feel that for sure. You feel that for sure.
That's one of the things that I really loved.
I mean, some people will go out their way to really help others. And believe it or
Most.
most.
How is
Hopefully most.
there was this one time that we
Oh,
saw
I'm not
this
saying only Japan. I mean everywhere.
There was this one time that we saw a shopkeeper actually come out with a broom and literally broom the street because it's his front.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What? And the streets were clean. Super duper clean. No? Remember in Kyoto?
100%.
Wow, man.
100%, man. I would really like to go back and
Do what this time? Differently. We didn't see Mount Fuji.
I would like to see that. I would like to explore more, get deeper into Japan.
Yeah.
The heart of Japan, the Japanese people.
What would you do this time around?
I'll pre-plan it, but I
Yeah.
would really like to get into the heart of it more, like I said. Get out of the cities.
Yeah.
Any city you go to in the world, even if you went to Italy, France, Argentina, Australia, you're going to get this, the normal city
It's a tourist trap.
trash or whatever it is you get from every city.
It's a metropolitan. They're all the same everywhere else. A
Pretty
little
much.
differently according to the way those people are, of course. So if you do want to get that, but when you get that true flavor of the real people where they come from is the rural
Teaches
areas.
you go to this place not only as a vacation, but as a life experience. Makes you look at human beings different, makes you look at society different, makes you look at yourself different. How can I change my surroundings? How can I become a better person? How can I help others in need? And you do get that satisfying feeling when you do help others. Like, you know what? That's a part of my purpose, is to help others. Because it does brush off on you. It does reflect up on you. You know?
One question, man, I really like to know. What is the difference between the people in the city and the country life? Why is it that you lean towards the country life so much more?
I think the people are a lot more authentic. They're not afraid to be themselves with you. They welcome you. And they're not so lost in the hustle and bustle of the metropolitan.
They're in their natural state as a human being, I would say.
They're surrounded by nature more.
They're not taught to be afraid. You'll be surprised. You'll think you're in a rural village. I wouldn't knock on that house. No, you'll be surprised. Knock on that house. They'll be more than happy to help you compared to a city.
Yeah.
They're not looking at you as, of course you're a stranger, but to them,
People from the city are like abused children.
abused children.
And
Give me more on that. What do you mean?
Foster children who finally found a home and now they don't know how to love. Right?
Or I would say,
or like a pet of some sort.
it's like a flower that you took every petal off and then you try to glue it back on. It's not going to look the same.
But
You'll put it back together, but it's not going to look the
I
same.
literally mean the people act that way. If you approach them, they'll look at you like you're about to hit them.
Oh, how about
And
this
it's like,
day and age?
Hey, man, I don't mean to hurt you. I just want to know, how do I get to
How about this day?
42nd Street?
They'll have a headphone on, or they'll have the,
Right
you
or
know,
wrong.
those ear pods. And of course, when you go like this, they don't hear you, so they automatically go.
Yeah.
You know, it's an automatic pullback.
He's unplugging.
Wow. The interactions in the city are just more unpleasant. And then when you go to like the countryside, you know, it's just more pleasant. They're more they can be nice to you because life is nice to them. So that's kind of how it goes. For me, everywhere in any country. I don't like to be in the city or where the assholes are. Right?
And we're running away from those.
We're running away from those, man. We live too close to them.
That's a slogan right there.
So imagine paying money to go on a vacation or an experience.
Yeah.
And running into more a-holes.
Just to be around abused animals and children.
That shows you no matter where you go, human beings are all the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you go. It can be any continent. You know, we all have the same needs. We all have the same desires as human beings, you know.
Japan really changed us, though. That it made me
100%.
It made me bring back those manners in my day-to-day life. It was a learning experience. I graduated from Japan, I feel like.
More than anything, it was a learning experience.
Right? Now I wanted to whisper from here on forward. I wanted to be courteous to others and be mindful.
Not only me. It's not only
about
me.
you. It's about how the whole society is in harmony because everyone does their job accordingly.
Everything around us is synchronized.
Yeah.
When the sun rises in the day, when the sun begins to set, the animals begin work, they start finishing up what they have to do. The whole universe, when darkness falls, when the moon comes out, we are all synchronized. And when you do start to come out of your natural state, that's you begin to feel the harms as a human being. You know, you feel it. So I would say that's where you have to hit the brakes and say, you know what, how do I get back in line? You know, we all naturally are gonna, you know, step out of bounds. But how do you put yourself back in?
Unplug.
But these days, everywhere you go, there's a plug. You plug in your hybrid car now. You're plugging in your ears, you know. It's all
Well, I mean, you can always detox from it too. You got to understand it's a tool and just use it as a tool.
Everyone can, but you have to make this step and do it.
Yeah. The forest bathing really does it for me. That's why I like to go hiking a lot.
I'd like to thank you for introducing me to that, man.
Yeah, change your life, right?
100%. Makes you say, wow, man, what was I missing? The natural things, even with the whole coronavirus when it came. My neighbors were biking. Everybody's taking a walk. You're enjoying things that you might have not enjoyed throughout your past, 10 years. Take a walk in the park, walk with a friend, exercise, go out, look at the trees, look at the sunset, look at sunrise. All those things, beautiful things that happen every day, which we don't take.
Guys, there's millions of views on YouTube on just videos of sounds of rain, sounds of birds chirping in the forest. That tells you a lot.
Tells you a lot.
We're craving our natural surrounding. That's why everybody wants to play it on YouTube, right? Probably helps them fall asleep too. That's a good one. I listen to rain sound, fall asleep, nature sounds.
Yeah, 100%.
As well. I have that Google Home, and it kind of like knows your routine, so I could say like, okay, Google, good night, and then it'll tell me what the temperature is tomorrow, if anything has happened, how the traffic will look like, and then it'll ask.
But do you need to know that?
Yeah, sure.
Is that too much information? Maybe I don't want to know that. Let's leave that for tomorrow. It's enough for today.
And then it asks me, what time should I set the alarm? and I tell them the alarm, and it says good night, and it shuts my lights off that are connected to Google.
Nice.
And then it plays nature sounds for about 30 minutes or so. And usually in that time frame, I knock out. So it's very convenient if you use the technology good with the nature sounds. And but yeah, still artificially, I'm listening to like natural things.
To that.
Even if we do become machines, we're gonna make the natural come into the machine.
They're intertwined.
Yeah, we're gonna crave that natural feeling. And Japan is
And
that,
that's
man.
why we're looking for it now.
And that's what Japan shows you, especially in Tokyo. No matter how unnatural it is, they're trying to create nature, the relationships, the surrounding, every single thing about it. But it's artificial.
I would say be that Japan wherever you are. Make it that Japan wherever you are.
Yeah.
You know?